Hello again, land enthusiasts of the internet. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of Nuevo Mexico. New property going live on the website this week. This is another 5-acre property out in Highland Meadows, the popular Highland Meadows subdivision. We bought up half the subdivision last year. We're still listing properties out there. This one's really nice. It's a big chunk of land. It's a combination of 4 adjacent lots that total 5 acres, and as you can see, we have it priced here at $5,500. Let's pull this up on a map, show you guys exactly where this is. For the record, guys, the reference number on this one is VLNM2127Q. Called a reference number because we'd like you to reference it when you call us, which no one does, but anyway. All right, guys, GPS coordinates down here. Click them, and then up on the map, the property shall appear. Before we talk about specifics, let's first pull back and talk about where this is in Planet New Mexico. So, for those of you vaguely familiar with the geography of New Mexico, you know that Albuquerque is up here in the north-central part of the state. That, of course, is your largest city, largest population center in the state, and this property sits roughly about 30 miles west of Albuquerque. In fact, if we right-click and measure distance and do one of these, you will see, yeah, roughly about 30 miles, 30 minutes, something like that. Probably less time because it's all highway commute, easy commute here along the I-40 where you're probably doing 75, 80 the whole time, so maybe it's more like a 20, 25-minute drive. Point being, it's close, guys. It's close. So if you're currently living in Albuquerque and your rent is going up and you don't want to deal with that anymore and you like kind of a rural setting, you want some privacy, it's a really beautiful area out here, and it is one of the advantages of living out here. Now, it should be noted that this region is also about equidistant to Los Lunas. And for those of you who don't know, Los Lunas is the county seat of Valencia County, the home county here of this property. Los Lunas, of course, is a well, it's a dense population center, basically overflow from Albuquerque. A lot of people sort of moving out here to Los Lunas because it's close enough. The commutes are close enough into the city. Live down here, work up there type of thing. Should be noted that here in Los Lunas, you've got a Walmart Supercenter right off the 6. The 6 is sort of the route that you would take out from the subject property into Los Lunas. Should be noted, because I didn't say it, but the property sits in very close proximity not only to the 40, which takes you to Albuquerque, but to the 6, which takes you to Los Lunas. And my understanding from my photographer is that this is a picturesque drive through the, I don't know what, rock formations, mesas of central New Mexico here until you get into Los Lunas. Of course, owning property out here puts you in very close proximity to both these towns, very close proximity to dining, shopping, nightlife, all the appeal, all the attraction of these two major thriving metropolises. For small grocery and supply runs, you're probably going to be going into nearby Mesita. These two are, roughly 30-minute drives, Albuquerque and Los Lunas. Mesita is just a quick 10 minutes here up along the I-40. You got a grocery store out here. You've got some convenience stores. I think you've got like 1 or 2 fast food places. But point is, major grocery and supply runs will probably be done out to nearby one of the 2 towns I just mentioned 82 times. Anywho, if we zoom in here on the map, guys, we will see the Highland Meadows subdivision cut up here on the map. It's in 2 parts, one north of the 6 right up here, which is a little more densely populated, and the more rural part down here cut out just south of the 6. You can kind of see it cut out on the map. If you zoom in a little bit more, you can see more of this. Whatever the case, the 2 sections are a little bit different because the northern section is one of these where every road is paved. There's utilities all throughout, which is why, ergo, why you see more homes up here. And the southern section is less of that. Of course, there are people living out here. There are some paved roads, a lot of dirt roads. And where you see clusters of homes like this, you will also see utilities. Calle de Llano is one of the main roads through this subdivision. And there are power lines along this road servicing these homes, etc. And the subject property is none too far from there. We'll get back to that in just a second, though. I also want to point out that the Highland Meadows Volunteer Fire Department, very close by. Should anything go pear-shaped, they are right around the corner. With all that said, let's talk about the specific property. So as noted, this 5 acres is a combination of 4 adjacent lots. If we go to Map View down here on Google Maps, click Map View, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4 lots. These are the lots that we are selling. You've got road frontage along 3 sides right here. It's theoretical road frontage. I'm going to call it theoretical road frontage because these roads don't have names. It's unnamed road, and unnamed road. But the point is that it sits just south of Akron, or, if you prefer, just west of Akron. They ran out of names, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, in regards to utilities, let's just talk about this. Nearest properties where you have active utilities are definitely over here. I'm not sure if this is an abandoned structure or if it's not, but there are power poles out here. If we right-click and measure distance, you can see exactly how sort of far these things are. 1,400 feet to that one. I believe it's another 1,400 feet to this one. Point is roughly 1,500 feet to the nearest property where you have power. So, theoretically, that's always an option, getting power extended out to the property. Of course, that is a conversation I highly encourage you to have with the local utility company prior to giving us money, or giving anybody money for land for that matter. With all that said, let's pull this up here on the listing page. Let's go down and show you some photos. As with all of our properties, we get pictures taken from the land itself. Wait, I forgot to mention. So this is the Google Earth overlay of the region if you want to get a sense of the exact sort of size, shape, location of those 4 lots that I was just demonstrating. This will do that. We don't have a plat map in this gallery. Valencia County, very stingy with their plat maps, so you'll have to take our word on it here. But the plat representation on Google Maps is basically what you would see on a plat map. Anywho, guys, if we go to the photos here, you will get a sense. Number one, this is, I believe, the southern road that leads to the property. According to my photographer, all of these roads are navigable by any type of vehicle, so you don't need a large truck to do this sort of thing, though my sense is you might want one the first time that you go out there. You can, this abandoned RV and car that you see right here, I believe are the RV and car that you would see right here. I believe that's what you're looking at there on satellite view. For the record, guys, if you're looking at this property like, oh my God, this is great, I could go park my RV out there like this guy did. It's not actually zoned for that. It's not actually zoned for indiscriminate lengths of time parking of your RV. That being said, you actually have to have someone see it and report it before someone else can, get off their chair in an office somewhere and come and enforce it and give you some fine for $20 for doing that. So, use your own discretion. That being said, it's not specifically zoned for this sort of thing. With all that said, we like these properties out here in Highland Meadows because, as you can see from the photos, you've got a lot of nice flat land out here, easy to build on, easy to park whatever on, whether that's an RV for temporary periods of time, or a sort of mobile home as you wait to kind of get a cement foundation on that. Point is, it's not the type of property where you need to do a lot of excavating, a lot of landscaping, a lot of cutting down trees, etc., before you can actually start to build something. You're out here in God's country where it's gorgeous, number one, and number two, you don't have to fight the land too much to actually start living on it, etc. So, of course, if you go through the photo gallery here, you'll get a good sense of that. You will also see off in the distance the Mesa Redonda. This area has some really beautiful views of the nearby mesa. I will get back to that in just a second. I want to point out there's a cell tower nearby. And my photographer reported shockingly good cell service while he was out there because of this, giant thing that's, basically right there in the subdivision. So that's another one of the benefits of this area. Anyway, Mesa Redonda. So you can see it here in some of the photos nearby. Great for exploring, great for hiking, camping, just going out there on the trails that exist out in this region. Really picturesque, really nice. It should also be noted, I'll let you guys explore the gallery on your own time. It should also be noted, if you come here on the map and you want to just get a sense of access, how exactly to get out to this property. One way is here off the 6th. This Sparrowhawk Road leads over here to Archway Boulevard. You come down here, you can make your way down Akron. It should also be noted a second point of entrance would be over here. Also off the 6th, down this way, which also leads into the subdivision. I think there's actually a couple points of ingress egress over here, but the easiest one, the one closest to the property, is up here. And hey, I know, while we're doing this, why don't I show you what exactly that looks like? So if you do want to go out there and scout this, you'll know when you're in the right spot. We do one of these, drop the little guy on the map, and you can see, hang on, where is it? Yes, there we go, this thing. Once you see this thing, congratulations, you are at the entrance to Highland Meadows. Of course, all you guys, anybody who's interested in property with us, this property, any property, we encourage you, if you've got the ability, if you're close enough, please go out and scout these things in advance. Make sure that you're comfortable with it before you actually put down money. By the way, while we're talking about this, you can see some of the power lines that are out here along the 6th. You can see some out here in the distance servicing nearby homes. Also, we saw the cell tower, ba-boom, that I was discussing earlier, very close to the subdivision, etc. Anyway, with all this said, the big selling point of these properties, the thing that I found with so many people who inquire about them with us, is that the real appeal is, I'm getting sick of Albuquerque. I can't stand the traffic. I can't stand the, whatever, my rent going up all the time. I want a place of my own. I want a piece of land that I control where, I buy it for X and, next month somebody's not knocking on my door trying to collect, X plus, whatever. I think I'm explaining that poorly, but you get the point. The rent is not going up. That's my point. The point is that you own the land, you control it, etc. and you're very close to two major population centers, both of which are probably going to expand over time, etc. So you can expect property values out here. I'm not going to say to rise exponentially. I'm not going to give you the impression that this is going to be worth $1 million in 10 years, but certainly more than what you're buying it for today. While I have your attention, guys, I want to point you to a couple things that we have here on the listing page. These are some good resources if you want to do some research, if you want to figure out, practically speaking, my God, I want to go build my own home site out here. What's it going to cost me? Here's some things that we recommend. As always, you've got the local utility company, PNM. Click this link. It's going to take you to their webpage. If I were you, I'd have that conversation in advance. Call them up and say, hey, I'm looking to buy some property out in Highland Meadows. They may or may not know where that is, but west of Albuquerque, out by the Route 66 casino. You've got power lines pretty close by, roughly about 1,500 feet away from my property. What's it going to cost to have power extended out to my land? Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's one or two power poles. They charge you $3,000 or something like that, and then they've got a paying customer forever. Or maybe it's a ridiculous amount of money, and you'll want to consider solar as an affordable alternative. Who knows? Point being, it's a good conversation to have in advance of purchase. Additionally, we also have links down here to the Office of the State Engineer. This, of course, if you're going to plant a residential well out here, drill a residential well, you're going to want to talk to these people. They control water rights and well drilling permits all throughout the state, residential as well as commercial. A lot of people will call us and ask us, what's the water table depth in the area? And I mean, it's a difficult thing to research. If you goof around on this website long enough, you're going to find well logs within the region that'll give you a sense of how deep certain wells are drilled. If you have the time, if you have the inclination to do that, you can find that information on the state engineer's website. I think it's always just best to call local well drillers and say, hey, I'm buying some land in Highland Meadows. Give me a sense. How far down am I going to have to drill? What's it going to cost me on a price per foot basis, so on and so forth. That being said, in my experience and my observation, when you see residences clustered like this in one area, it's safe to assume that there's no city water out here. There's no city water service in this region. So all or most of these people have wells that they're using. When this many people have planted campsites in a region, that tells me that the water table is fairly accessible and fairly affordable to access it. It's not prohibitively expensive. So that's my quote unquote educated guess. Point being, guys, we always recommend do that research on your own. Call well drillers, call the state engineer, talk to them about that sort of thing. Blah, blah, blah. One more thing I want to point out to you here on the page, guys, is under zoning, we have a PDF. If you click this, it's going to take you to what's called the residential districts sort of zoning excerpt from the Valencia County zoning ordinance. And this, of course, is very boring, and you probably will not be inclined to read it, but it gives you some insights into how the area is zoned, what you can do, what you cannot do. We get a lot of calls all the time. Can I build a house? Single-family residences, no county ever really objects to. It's when you get into quote-unquote unconventional things, shipping container homes, tiny homes, things like that, where the county probably has some sort of stipulation about something. And usually it's less about no, you can't do it than it is you need to pay X for this permit and Y for that permit. So it's good to have those conversations with the county. Whatever the case, this region, Highland Meadows, it's zoned Outland District. There is no real Outland District excerpt that we could find in a zoning PDF, so Rural Residential 1 seems to be the closest. Whatever the case, if you read this, it'll give you some insights about what is and is not acceptable out there. Temporary secondary mobile home or residential trailer dwelling in conjunction with a principal dwelling on the same parcel, blah, blah, blah. Basically what that means is as long as you got a building permit, yes, you can live out of one of those things. They anticipate you'll have to if you're building a permanent residence. You need some sort of temporary residence to live out of. That being said, they do have something in here. Here it is. Recreational vehicles shall not be used as primary residences in any RR district. So long story short, like I was saying earlier, it's not something that you can just park out there for indiscriminate periods of time. Blah, blah, blah. One more thing which I forgot to mention, guys, is that this property, you may think you're out here in the middle of nowhere, but the Route 66, route or route, whichever you prefer, Casino Hotel is nearby here, and we actually here on the listing page have a link to their website. If you are unfamiliar with them, where's it at? Hang on. There it is. Click that link. It'll take you to their website where you can read all about the casino, the hotel, the dining that's offered out there. They got a buffet. They got a steakhouse. They got the, sports bar, diner, so on and so forth. But this is just sort of right in your backyard, a 5-minute drive away along the highway. So you've got the gaming out there, and you've got some restaurants. So it's not as remote as you would think. Anyway, with all that said, guys, if you're watching this video like, oh my God, how do I buy this property? Come up here to the Buy Now button, click this. It'll take you to a secure checkout page. We're going to ask you for a couple things a couple pieces of information to give us a legal name for deed. Name or names. You, your husband, your wife, whatever. Who's going to be on the deed? Tax address. Where's Valencia County going to mail the annual tax bill? Etc. Agree to the terms of service. And on the next page, we will ask you for credit or debit card information. For the record, like all the properties you see on Hemingway land, they are owned by our company. So once you give us the money, as far as we are concerned, you are the new owner. Practically speaking, however, we're going to write up a deed. We're going to have that to you within 24 hours. Once you approve it, we're going to autograph it, notarize it, mail it off to Valencia County. Valencia County is going to stamp it, record it, and then they are going to forward it on to you. So from start to finish is about 3 weeks before that document arrives in your hands. That being said, as noted earlier, we own the property, so once you give us money, please, knock yourselves out. Go out there, begin camping, begin building, begin your plans for whatever it is that you plan to do out there. One final thing, I just want to let you guys know, we closed on this property with New Mexico Land and Title. This is one we got title insurance on, so this is one we will be providing a warranty deed for you with. Syntax. That sentence made very little sense, but you get the point. There was a warranty deed, there's title insurance, so on and so forth. It's good. For the record, guys, if you would like to close with the title company as well, we can do that. Just call our offices. We'll ask you for a deposit. Once you put down the deposit, we'll send you a sale purchase agreement, and then we will move this through title and escrow. And they will get it done slowly, I'm sure, but within about 30-45 days. And then they will officially convey the property to you and collect your funds. The benefit of that, of course, is that we can't touch your money until such a time as the property is in your name. So if you are skeptical about buying land online, that's a good way to deal with that problem. Anyway, with all that said, guys, hope you like the property, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.